Dignitas and Zealots facing off, and the Zealots come in and they up their shot calling, tying up the series 1-1 with a very fascinating Zealot composition that showcased, I guess, Zul'jin.
They wanted X and they got X, and quite a lot of it too, so Zul'jin definitely performing.
Yeah, definitely bringing it out there, man, showing up the X here. Battleground number 3 here. Let's go ahead and figure out where we're going.
That Glaurung, by the way, is why Mage Zul'jin is inferior. Just saying.
I'm just saying, if he wants to show off Mage Zul'jin, why doesn't he get his teammate draft it and show it off in competitive play?
The gauntlet has been thrown.
That's right. That's right.
Right there.
We're going the 2-man Spider Queen. Zealots with the choice here, too.
I just want to see it again. I want to see the troll again. At this point, I'm just like, okay, please, one more time. But I think there's a pretty good chance that we will maybe see a few more Tacitus banned out on the side of Dignitas, bit of a soft ban against that strategy.
Yeah, keeping the Zul'jin away, not allowing to get that lifesteal that is ever so important as he's shredding away your team. 2-man Spider Queen, a little bit more about control, a little bit more turn-ins as well. Zul'jin not so good in that regard, so probably not going to see him, sadly. But if we do, hey, I'll be here cheering for him.
And Zealots with a win. I mean, even if it's the only map they take in this series, that's already impressive. So it's not that Dignitas just completely threw. It's always Zealots somehow come back. I don't know. Right now they're the comeback team. They fall behind heavily and then they make a comeback happen by forcing a decent fight, and all of a sudden you see someone like Dignitas in the late game starting to realize, well, boys, we might have had a 3-level lead at some point, but we could still lose this. And on the last map they actually did. So let's see how this is going to work out for the Zealots on map number 3. We have Medivh banned out immediately. And what are the Zealots going to head into as their first ban?
Let's find out. Typically they've been banning out the ETC. They also banned out Genji last time. Both of those strong as Battleground. I think Genji a little bit less so here, as you probably want to ban out ETC if you were to go down that route. But here you can always think about wave clear you can ban out. You can also leave up the options, so you can move into the Dahaka or the ETC based on what your opponent does pick up. And they elect to go ahead and ban out Tassadar.
So there's a lot of high priority picks still available. ETC is an insta-lockdown for Dignitas, but now the Zealots, for the first time, could go into a Genji comp. And could help Poik out here, for example. So they could head into something along the lines of Uther and Genji, which is exactly the starting pair that Dignitas used in the first game. There's a lot of other options available for Tomb as well, of course, but that's definitely one avenue to consider here.
Yep, you can look toward just pure wave clear. Rhaegar Greymane is a great pickup. Rhaegar Vala is great too. You have Johanna, which you can pick up on the earlier stages, especially against an ETC. She helps control a little bit too with that Condemn, being able to stop mosh pits, even the Blessed Shield too. Lots of options here for the Zealots. What do they favor though? Lately, and this is probably not going to be something that you're seeing competitive play anytime soon, but in the year 2020 when my meta comes online,
oh god, I don't even want to hear
Lava Wave Ragnaros. Oh, so good here.
Okay. So, really?
You don't know, man.
First pick Ragnarok.
Wow, they went Rhaegar Johanna. Keep the damage away. We're gonna adapt, pick it up later.
I mean, I prefer that over an early Ragnaros with Lava Wave.
You're missing out, dude. Lava destroys.
Sure. I mean, if
in
your
real life,
opponent
in
is
a
like
game.
Such deep thoughts, right?
That's what I'm here for, man.
So yeah, if your opponent doesn't move out of the lane, then yeah, it's definitely it's a
That's
problem.
why you go for the flank and force them not to move out. You go for the flank.
The lava wave flank.
Yeah, no, yeah. You drop the lava wave, and they're like, all right, I got like 10 seconds to get out of lane. I'll apply some damage here, and then you come in with the big boy flank, drop the molten core, swing it. You hit 3 to 4 people. Lava wave destroys everybody, and then your team's like, thank you for the carry, and you're like, you know what? You're welcome. Just go and upvote me in the MVP section. Just go ahead. Just drop that upvote.
Okay.
You know? It works, dude.
Yeah. Are you currently leveling a second account up? Are those the gold plays that you talk about?
Yes, they're amazing. Yeah. Destruction.
On the second account, I can see that work, but as soon as you climb a little bit higher, I think
I've made it work lately, but we're not going to talk about my placements, because those have been a bit difficult.
Okay, yeah, so from Lava Wave Ragnaros as the new trick meta, we're heading into the real games, where we see Uther and the
the real games.
where we see Uther and the Haka being picked. So, Rhaegar and Johanna, you talked about this a bit, and I mean, this is a super early Johanna pick that we now see, and we have the wave clear on her, we have the wave clear also on the side of of Rhaegar, but you give up, again, the Divine Shield and the Mosh Pit combo, especially since the Haka has now been taken as well. So you have ETC with Mosh Pit, you have the Haka for Soak at the bot lane, and also for the engage potential through all the brushes that we have around the 2 turn-in points. But I want to see actually how Zealots are finishing out this draft. Because it's not quite what I expected for them to start with. Rhaegar I can understand, but the Johanna priority here is pretty incredible.
Yeah, there's a big pickup there. Dahaka too, especially on this battleground. A lot of people look at him and say, not the greatest, you don't get the flanks that you want, but especially with him getting the enhanced agility, around like 4 to 5 stacks, you can actually beeline from the bottom to the middle for a quick 5-man rotation and help get a pickup. He's actually very strong on this battleground.
Yeah, so Johanna, I mean, last time we saw Johanna, it was Falling Sword. I wouldn't mind seeing that again, even though that was born out of the need to get back into the game, which is pretty fun by Trick. But still, let's see how the Zealots are going to play this year. My dream would be a late game Asmodan. I want it back.
No way.
No, it's not happening, but still.
But please? Johanna and Asmodan? Please?
I mean, it's not happening, you know that.
Can we just text Mopsio?
Okay, so the reason why Asmodan with Johanna is back in the days, you would play Asmodan and Johanna on the map, and with Taste of Blood as your level 1 in quest talent, you would basically just use Johanna to help Asmodan stack the queue, and this was the map to do it. And normally you would sacrifice a lot of infrastructure at the beginning of the game, where you allow your opponent to take a slight lead over you, and then in the later stages, when you finally have the damage output on Asmodan, then all of a sudden you can make a comeback happen. The problem is that most teams are now really good with punishing weak early game compositions and simply push through, so the scenario doesn't really happen all that more that Asmodan can really pick up fast enough. So he hasn't been played in that combo on this map for nearly a year, I want to say.
Yep.
Roughly like that. But it was back then, it was a lot of fun because you had just all of a sudden this race where you know one team gets beaten into the ground, but you know if they can somehow survive and hold on to their keeps, they have huge comeback potential. So it was an interesting dynamic there. But yeah, so for everyone who's a bit newer, just the explanation of why we are being a little bit nostalgic about Asmodan. But I'm happy also to have Kel'Thas in the setup right now.
Yeah.
Since Kel'Thas, the mages in general, are making their comeback, and we have a huge amount of wave clear actually on the side of Zealots. They have definitely a lot of potential to try and snowball this game. Even with Gul'dan taken and Genji on Dignitas. I mean, I love Dignitas' death, don't get me wrong. Divine Shield on the Mosh Pit, Divine Shield on Dragonblade Genji, Gul'dan in the backline, all the damage output, the Haka for the soak. That draft is insanely good. But the Zealots definitely have a bit of a strategy here. There's a lot of wave clear on their end. They have a lot of great tools. Arthur's doesn't really shock me too much as a pick. And again, this looks more and more, by the way, like the trick draft.
It does.
So are we going to see those Syndragosa flanks? I don't know, but I want them.
Maybe they uncovered a secret strat that is just completely broken.
But yeah, overall, it's a great draft for Dignitas. It's a draft with a lot of potential on the side of Zealots as well. And I don't know, after seeing the Arthas in there, it's very reminiscent of those Arthas flanks with Syndragosa and the blessed, sorry, not the blessed shield, the falling sword that we saw from Trick. So I would not mind seeing that again.
We'll see if we'll get that falling dragon.
It was really a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was pretty darn good. Also, to note, we get to see Zharmony on someone that's not Sonya or Dahaka. I'm assuming he's going to be on the Arthas here. For the team, so we're going to watch him on the off lane and see him coming forward the flanks, which is good. I want to see him consistently flex out his pool a little bit more. It's always good to see players push the limits a little bit. So we'll see if we're going to get that Falling Dragon here for the Zealots, or if Team Dignitas is going to shut them down, because their team fight potential is pretty darn ridiculous, especially if they get the fights they want, get a couple of turn-ins in the early game, and open up that map. Genji with an open map, man, he loves it. He calls it home.
Is that the name of the strategy, the Falling Dragon?
It is now.
I've
said it twice now, so it should be, after about 2 more attempts, should be completely set in.
I'm not sure if we're ever going to see it again, but if it happens, it's going to be called the Falling Dragon.
Gangster does that sound, though? The Falling Dragon. Will we get the Falling Dragon on Tuma's Spider Queen? Let's find out here. It's game number 3 here. Between our 2 teams, we're all tied up. One of these teams will win, and one will lose.
And with that top-notch analysis, we are heading into game number 3. And to the left side, it's Bakery on Uther for Team Dignitas. JPL at that front line with ETC. Mane back on the majors with once more Gul'dan. And Snitch finds himself on Genji again as Zelia rounds the lineup out with a Dehaka play on the bot lane.
On the right side, in the red, we will have the Zealots here as Grandpa will be playing the Rhaegar. We're going to have Zharmony playing Arthas. Shadow going to play the Grey Mane. Kel'Thas will be played here by Sorry, I lost my track here. Poyok, sorry. And then last but not least, Mopsio and Johanna.
Don't turn him into a chicken again.
There was too many capes. I'm looking at Arthas. I'm looking over here at KT. I was like, whoa, man, holy moly.
But you called him Poyok again. He's not a chicken.
Poik.
There we go.
Poik. Got him.
Poyok.
It's in my head now. It's going to happen 3 or 4 times, so prepare yourself. Buckle in.
I mean, at least he doesn't play for the Playful Ducks.
Yep, that's great. That's awesome. You're hilarious. Team Dignitas and Zealots will face off against each other here in the middle lane. Power Slate goes out. Will hit Johanna, but the Iron Scan will keep him at bay. Oh my gosh, massive Living Bomb, though.
Yeah, that was a nice play. And that's the kill.
That's
Who
it.
thought
Minute
it's
2.
Down? They're getting 2. Zealots come in swinging in game number 2. Dignitas needs to be careful. We all know that they're the favorite here, but as we said, Zealots have caused upsets in the past, and that second map looked pretty strong, and right now, the Zealots are opening up the map with a bang. We know they can play from behind. They might be able to prove right now if they can run with an advantage in the game.
See if they'll be able to keep running with this, because right now they get a site experience lead, get a couple of kills. Granted, it's nothing too crazy, but it is a bit of a statement here to see Zealots come out here and get a big play right away. Snitch walks into a bush. He gets hit with a Howling Blast, but JPL follows up into a power slide. Grandpa trying to run away from the moment while Poit comes in with a Gravity Lapse and misses.
That was actually a really interesting setup because it returned. It was started as a gank and then it turned against them, since we had immediately heroes rotating in to help them out. So it was a quick 3 versus 3 that we had there. Also, interesting mount, actually. I haven't even seen that tint yet for Greymane. In Germany, we call that an Apfelschimmel.
Oh, what?
Apfelschimmel.
What is the Greymane mount? Hang on, we'll have to look at that when we get back into it. Hang on, drag at the bottom. Arthur's taking some pressure here. Bakery's coming in for the stun. This should be a dead Harmony, and it is. So Dignitas does answer back. Now, what is the mount that Shad is running on? Shad, please mount up. I want to see this.
Just a tint that he has there. You're going to see it in a second.
What's the English definition?
How the hell would I know?
Okay, I'm going to help you out with this. We're going to learn today. Tower's taking some damage as Shad and Poyok do pop in, but Dehaka is wanting to come in for a gank, and Shad is left by himself. Does he get away? JPL says no.
That was close, though. It looked for a moment as if he could escape, and Dignitas, after this early game, is saying, yeah, you might get 2 kills, but boys, like, don't get too excited here.
What a crazy game, though. 5 kills in 2.5 minutes?
Yep. I'm okay with that. It can continue like this. I'm absolutely happy with that.
It will continue here as JPL is on the right side, dealing with Harmony, body blocking him. Does he have power slide? Nah, they're going to let him walk away for now. But Zealots need to relax a little bit on their rotations, because so far, Dignitas is getting the upper hand.
How's the mount?
That is silver? It's like a silver with a bluish tint?
If you tell me now that it's a horse.
It's just a flip horse. That's all it was with a tent. No wonder why I haven't seen it yet. Genshi's coming in for the night camp on the right. Okay, he was just scouting. Is he gonna dance with the devil here?
Is he getting baited?
He's getting baited. Chad jumps in. Okay. He'll be able to take the Merc camp, get that pushing in the middle.
Yeah.
What a crazy early game here on 2-minute Spider Queen.
Kel'Thas was there, but he was not fast enough to come close enough for a quick Gravity Lapse. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's still a Blue Web Weaver wave that comes in for Team Dignitas first. So the early game might have been a little bit chaotic with 5 kills early on, but overall, Dignitas has a slight lead in experience here and the first turn-in, which is quite important for them now. And yeah, with that, let's see how much damage they can actually do if they can go through a few of these towers. I doubt that they're going to get an entire fort, but yeah.
Yeah, you touched on this. The wave clear a little bit good here for Zealots. They should be able to handle this pretty well.
Yeah, they're already working on it. So we have Arthas in the mid lane, we see Greymane up at the top. Down here, it's really where the biggest threat is right now. And we only have Mopsion and Poik here for now. But Arthas is probably going to make a rotation down pretty fast. But that could still be a fort. I mean, they're pressuring in pretty heavily.
Yeah, they're bringing 4 people down. And it looks like a fort. Poik and crew aren't able to do too much in terms of defense. And in fact, they may lose a member here as JPL goes in for the engage. Poik is able to walk away, but Mopsio is the next target. Fort finally will get cleaned up by the Web Weaver. One last hit. There it is. And Team Dignitas walks away a little bit bruised, but they get a fort.
Yeah, they get the infrastructure, and that nearly results in a level lead. They're not quite there yet, but that was still pretty impressive. So taking that away from the Zealots. And for now, we have Sins exposed on level 7. I mean, 7 talents have dropped for both of these teams. And this is really the moment where the Zealots are going to try and fight for their own turn-in. And of course, if they can get even a kill against one of the members of Team Dignitas, that would definitely make their job a little bit easier.
Mana keeps poking here in the middle, keeping it pushed forward, which forces Zealots to come in the middle and clear it out. If not, they'll start to lose some turrets, which will give Dignitas more experience right now, as they're almost hitting a full level above them. Zealots right now can't get a fight. With Dahaka and Genji on the bottom side, there's just no opening.
I mean, you want to turn in, so if you can zone, that's great. The problem is really the interrupt tools that Dignitas has with the Wave of Light and also Gul'dan always being able to throw out another corruption. If you have Genji, then the mobility alone allows him to move in, get an interrupt, and then retreat again. So for the Zealots, it's really pivotal to try and make it happen before level 10 hits for Dignitas, since a double turn-in for the blue team would be, I mean, you are already a level behind. If the double turn-in comes and they dive you on a keep with level 10 abilities and you lose a hero or two, then we could find ourselves in the exact same situation that Zealots now have experienced twice already, where they are down 2-3 levels, and that would just be brutal. We know they are good at coming back into games, but...
Yeah. It's harder on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
And in general, you don't really want to be the team that has to be 3 levels behind to win a game.
We turn on our monitors when we're 3 levels behind.
Yeah, exactly.
Zell's getting poked here. Mopsio's wanting to drop the turn-in. I think they were mostly doing this because they want to try to force a fight, but Dig is not biting.
So Zealots, how are you doing something? Well, we usually play with our feet, but when we're 3 levels behind, then we decide that it's time to use our hands, and that usually improves the entire play a little bit.
That'd be a fun team to watch at LAN. That's for sure.
You remember when StarCraft Mana actually did that? He played some ladder games where he was only controlling everything with his feet, and he was actually winning games.
No.
Yes. I'm not joking.
In StarCraft?
Yeah, he did that. He played with his feet.
That's impressive. I'm not even mad. If I would have lost, I'd be like, all right.
Not every game, he was at some point so bored that he actually did that. Yeah, so for Team Dignitas, on the other hand, doesn't matter what they play with, they get their turn-in, and that is actually an important one because Dignitas has just hit 10. So we have the turn-in for the Zealots, and they just prevented the worst. Dignitas themselves now, they are of course trying to force a battle. They always will use that level 10 to maybe burn down these Web Weavers a bit faster, but as Zealots are about to hit their own heroic abilities, they need to be a bit more careful right now. And the dream of the Falling Dragon has been crushed and extinguished, since it is standard talents with the Army of the Dead and the Blessed Shield being used. Is that the Blessed Army?
It is the Blessed Army.
Okay.
We'll go with that.
Sounds pretty boring.
I'm just sad, man. Fallen Dragon not being here. Curse Bullet comes out, we'll hit JPL. Snitch is harassing on the side here. With 10 being up, we're not going to see Dignitas really force a fight too heavily. They want to push back in the middle and then go up for the Web Weavers and clear them out, which Mana has already started. Dahaka on the bottom side has already pushed out that wave too. So for defense, Dignitas is looking pretty spectacular.
We have only 2 interrupt tools against Mosh Pit, by the way. Of course, the Divine Shield is going to be attempted to be comboed off with it, but just as a side note, there's only 2 interrupts, and one just has been used. So the Blessed Shield is out, and Cisco comes through. Divine Shield is on Genji, though. So we are seeing them on the way back, since all of a sudden the Zealots are moving in, but here comes that Mosh Pit and the interrupt as Point moves in, but Zarmony is low and he goes down. And that's exactly the problem that they have. Once the Blessed Shield is out, it's only Kel'Thas that can really go for the interrupt here.
Grandpa gets picked off to a drag connects there from Zelia, and Zelia, knowing the fight is over, heads back to middle lane, starts pushing in, works on 13, while the rest of his team looks at a boss.
Yeah, at least a reliable interrupt. I mean, if Johanna can get the condemn and that works too, but boss play, as you can just see, this is going to be tough to stop. We already have Mopsio moving in, and Arthas is on his way back. But this is still going to be a very tough battle for the Zealots. But they still are trying to fight it. The problem is that JPL is now starting to isolate Mopsio. He goes down. Can they at least drop JPL? Shed wants to go in. They get the kill against ETC. And Shed somehow survives and moves out. And the boss is still active as Point moves in. Arthas arrives. Rega is here. This could be Zealots taking the boss and stealing it away from Team Dignitas.
It's still East here. Grandpa goes over, looking to get the auto attack on it. Keep it running. Still dancing around on it. It's a little under a quarter health. Zelia is buying some time here, but he is low on mana. We're going to have some damage pop out, and Zelia finally does escape as Zealots decide to give up the boss. Yeah,
they let it leash. They are trying to go for the turn-in instead. And talking turn-in, we have both of the teams with enough gems. Actually, only one of the teams has the amount now. Dignitas is able to turn in and get another wave, but we are seeing the Zealots close that gap pretty fast. Snitch over here. He should be fine.
Yeah, he's gone.
Swift Strike, pretty good.
Genji, pretty good. That's his subline.
Yeah.
Blue Web Weavers coming out as Dignitas will seek to turn in with the 4-man gank on the bottom while Snitch buys time.
Yeah.
His team
And
will now look for forts.
At this point, we are having Dignitas on level 13 talents, 1.5 levels ahead. It's only a matter of time until the Zealots turn it around again.
Only a matter of time. We'll see if they can hit it here.
It happened twice now. 2 times they found themselves 3 level behind, and they forced everything out of Dignitas in the late game on 20 versus 20. Dignitas is definitely going to try and avoid it this time and just saying, okay guys, let's snowball this hard, make sure that we push our advantage so that the Zealots cannot come back in the 3rd game here. That would be a bit ridiculous.
Now, they are committing to the top lane here. They're doing this because they have the Dahaka. Dahaka being able to go on the bottom side does stretch the Zealots a little thin. It makes it a bit hard for them to defend everything at once. The Zealots have to decide a couple of things. Either they go for an engage or they just focus on clearing, which does mean they will lose out on a few turrets. They're already losing one on the top side, and Dahaka pushing in the bottom. Does see that Arthas is down here, and he's actually going for a flank on the Arthas, looking to get a bit of a fight. Overall, solid defense for the Zealots as they lose their keep wall, but still are in the game and are working towards their 13.
Yeah, and with the 13 talent, as long as they hold on to their gems, they can get a turn in for themselves. I mean, overall, the Zealots are just in a spot where they can still take these fights, and they will try and do that. The big problem is really just, they try and go for a quick snipe against JPL. That didn't really work out.
Nope.
Issue is also, of course, that you commit quite a lot of resources to it, and a simple Divine Shield can ruin that play. The cooldown on the Cursed Bullet is pretty low, so that's not an issue. But the Blessed Shield, that's a different matter. The Mosh Pit is something that really worries me. We've seen a massive impact in the last fight, and this time it could still come into play here, because I don't really expect the Divine Shield to be sacrificed for the Mosh Pit unless JPL, of course, hits 4 members. But on Genji alone, he can create so much trouble here. And we have another Web Weaver wave coming down. So double Web Weaver wave for the blue team. Dignitas is getting 2 in a row.
This is a 3rd turn in for them in this game, and you're seeing the results of it on the mini-map. This is what happens if you let your team turn in over and over and over again. They start to really break you apart. The fort in the middle will be one of the main targets here for Dig to open up the map, but they wouldn't mind getting pressure on that keep wall on the bottom side. And remember, they killed the keep wall on the top, so if that gets to the keep, that Web Weaver will do damage.
ETC is just insane. Like, that hero peels so much. He can peel so much here, especially with his level 4 talent. It's absolutely crazy. They try to pressure someone, and he's always there, peeling for the rest of the team, creating space, allowing them to just sneak around Zealots. And once more, they move in as the Zealots themselves have to go to the top lane to make sure that they're not losing a keep to the Web Weaver wave. And now Dignitas is going to hit level 16 talents. So once again, the Zealots are down 2 levels, are down the level 16 talent, and find themselves in the spot where they somehow have to find a way to come back into this game, where Dignitas is just calling the shots.
Still in the game here. Holding now. Keeps have yet to fall, and they will be in a spot where they have to turn in soon. They definitely have the gems. They're poking in the middle, but with the 2-level advantage or disadvantage really hurting them at the moment. Might not be able to sneak it in as well as they would like. Remember, they have 0 gems turned in of the 55 they do need.
Yeah, we have currently 93 gems overall, so they're actually starting to get pretty close to having a double turn-in. So if they gain that momentum, that would be great for them. But their biggest issue is still that they are fighting without the level 16 talent, and that's a massive problem. So they attempt to go for the turn-in here. Zelia actually zoned out a bit, but we have ETC now coming in too, and Shad with his 32 gems could not turn them in. And he's of course the one hero that really would love to go a bit deeper into the opponent's backline. But if you hold the majority of the gems of your team, you're pretty reluctant to really make that commitment happen.
Zarmany getting poked down here with Zelia chasing, threatening a tongue. Snitch was freely able to poke him where he can. The corruption connecting, and Zarmany just gets hurt here. Heals coming out, and so is the cleanse. The Ancestral just not up in time, but still having to use an Ancestral on an escape would have been poor for the team.
I mean, wasn't it up? Didn't he have it it was ready, right?
The Ancestral, yeah.
I mean, that was telegraphed that he would die here, so I'm not quite sure if I would... I mean, the problem is, of course, when you look at it from a cooldown perspective, Arthas is going to be back way faster than Ancestral would be ready. But the problem is, without Arthas on the map, you open up the minimap to your opponent so that Dignitas can now attack the keep, and that's the trade-off that you go for. From just a time perspective, it would have been better, but now Johanna falls, and I really think Rhaegar should have just dropped the Ancestral there.
Well, we're going to have a staggered death hitting as Johanna gets focused down. Horrify was used by Mane to bring the Johanna back, but there was a decent amount of gems that were dropped. A few of them were picked up, though, so Zealots still holding in, being alright here.
They didn't lose too many gems. They're still sitting at 93, so they are, when it comes down to it, they are fine. But losing this keep, of course, that's a different matter. And we already have the Haka up at the top lane. The Zealots' game plan is now get 16 and then force fights, win a fight, and get the double turn in. That's what they have to do. And Dignitas' objective is to aim for level 20, so they can maintain the talent advantage over their opponent. It would also allow them to go later on for a boss play. So there's the Divine Shield, baited out. Now a bit of chase potential as Harmony is starting to slow down Bakery. They're moving in pretty heavily here, but again, ETC is just too good. The face melt pushing everybody back and allowing Bakery to easily escape with the rest of the team.
And the thing is, Dig still has wells in the middle of the map that they can tap. They're going to tap up and potentially move in for another fight. The 16 will hit for Zealots, which is going to be helpful, so at least they have their talent, and they do get the turn in, but they cannot lose members here. Yeah,
they need to push with the Web Weavers now. And here's like the saving grace for Zealots. Since all the forts are still up, if they take forts down, they will be able to close the experience lead of Team Dignitas a bit faster. Horrify being used here, but only to save JPL. They can't capitalize on a kill. Snitch is trying to move in from the back line here and is trying to put on some pressure, but has been spotted already. And now the Web Weavers are down, so this means that Zealots can, with the Web Weavers, push a little bit heavier. And this is the moment where they have to make their plays. They are on 16. It's now or never.
Yep, they're grouping up and they're pushing the bottom, so they will get a fort here, finally opening the first fort of the game. Dignitas takes their time to go to the middle lane and the top lane to clear out the Web Weavers and soak experience as they hit level 19, but they still have a full level before 20 does hit. Horrify is up in 40 seconds, so that means that Dignitas will not have an amazing defense here against Zealots.
Mopsio anchoring the right side. This is also where the Haka could move in, so he needs to be careful there. And is starting to push in as the wall opens up. They have full vision right now. So they're going through the structures once more. Web Weaver is still there, but the Haka is also knocking at the top right and is now starting to move in from the side, exactly where Mopsio was positioned earlier, and is trying to see if he can get that drag. Has the speed still, has the stun. They go for JPL. He's low, but he's able to move out. The Divine Shield on Genji is allowing him to go deep into the backline, but Snitch did not get a kill just yet. The keep is already a bit low, starting to go back down to 50%, but the Zealots just can't push through here. They still are 2 levels behind, and Dignitas is moving in faster and faster towards level 20. Here comes Zelia, gets the drag, and that could be the end of Arthas. He's down, and now it's time to chase.
Grandpa was hit with the power slide, so he could not drop the Ancestor Healing. Shadow's working on JPL. They do clean him up. Poik uses Arcane Barrier. Can he live long enough here? No, he cannot. Zelia and Snitch will clean him up. Golden does fall. Shad finding a kill. Grandpa wanting to bring out some heals for Shad, but Shad low enough. Snitch completely free on the side here to work on the auto attack. Should have a strike in a second here. Gets him in the face. Goes up for Grandpa, and Snitch will clean up this fight.
That was a close call there at the end. You could really see that Rhaegar was trying to see if he can maybe with a bite drop someone, but that wasn't the case. And then the resets for Snitch. That's all that Dignitas needs. They get the entire team. Their level 20 talents are here. And in the mid lane, 3 catapults are already starting to work at the shields on the core. Snitch clears the minion wave, and the rest of Dignitas is now moving in. They want the lead here. They're going for a core. Zarmony is back though, and Dignitas might not be able to make this work yet.
They look like they can't, with Bakery being low on mana. They're going to go ahead and just go to the top lane and push that instead and work on the keep a little bit with those minions. But they're just trying to get gems for a turn-in. They need one more.
Yeah, and also the boss is still up, so that's another big issue. With Johanna dead for another 20 seconds, you could make that boss play. It's unlikely that they're actually going for it, since they have the turn-in available too. But with the level 20 talent, there's definitely an opportunity for them to make that work. But for now, Zelia goes to the turn-in. So they have 34 on him already, and the rest of the team can just simply turn in the remaining gems. They have 50 turned in, another 15, and then we could see them go for another keep on the map.
I wouldn't mind seeing them start that boss and get the push set up, simply for the mere fact that Zealots actually have really good defense, especially with that Fury of the Sunwell from Kel'Thas. But for now, they're just going to go ahead and just focus on Web Weavers. 20 to almost 19 for Zealots. They still need a full level before they get the 20 Storm Talents, so defense will have to be nearly perfect if they want to stay in this game.
Yeah, there's a drag against Mopsio. Shouldn't be of any consequence just yet. Nice move there still from Kel'Thas, dropping a quick gravity lapse into the brush, making sure that if ETC moves in for a slide, that he is stopped right away. And in the meantime, we have the Web Weavers now coming down. Middle has, of course, to be defended so that nothing attacks the core. But Dignitas is working at the bot lane, still maintaining the 2-level lead that they have. 21 against 19 at this point, and Zealots just desperately trying to defend somehow.
Phoenix will be used, going to help out with the clear. JPL is actually taking those shots, so the Web Weaver will be able to move forward. It does get on the keep, and this keep looks easily like it's going to go down. JPL hit with a Howling Blast. The keep actually still stands, the quarter of health, but Dignitas can continue to posture outside with Gul'dan while the top Web Weaver moves in.
Yeah, in the middle had also to be defended because we saw it moving towards the core. Bot lane keep is gonna fall. Zealots just hoping to somehow get level 20 so that they can fight a team fight again. And I mean, keep in mind, the bottom keep on the side of Dignitas, the wall is gone and the keep is at 60-70% hit points. If you win a big team fight and you wipe, you can move through the bot lane and maybe even finish the game.
Sure.
So that's the one thing we have to still consider here. But now Zealots, they have to move in for this fight. They have 20 and they have to go for the boss here. They have no chance. If that boss is taken, then I don't see them recovering.
The boss is a little under half health, so Dignitas needs to pull away. They can't commit to fully burning it. Poik does hit the gravity lap on JPL. He'll get hit with the first bullet.
Good damage.
Zelia finds Harmony. Cleanse will be utilized. Mopsy's a little bit too far out, but he is Johanna. He can pull back.
Tons of damage, and we have also Dragon Blade being used. So Dragon Blade is in a few seconds not an issue anymore. That's actually big. That's really big. This is an opportunity for them to make plays here. Army of the Dead is back is now back. Blessed Shield is out. Here comes the drag against Arthurs, but they can definitely start to force a fight right now, especially against JPL. They need to be careful about the mosh pit, of course, but here comes the engage. They're going for it. They're trying to blow him to pieces. JPL is low. Divine Shield has not been used just yet. Zarmany is on the side, dropping the Army of the Dead as he's attempting to move in and tries to lock someone on the side of Dignitas down.
They keep Dignitas at bay, popping a few heroics. Army of the Dead will heal them on up. They're going for a turn in here. It's only a few gems, but just trying to get Dignitas to come in and fight. Dignitas, being aware of the situation, isn't going to bite. Continue to poke on the side here, but it is a very close game in terms of fight. Luckily for Dignitas, they have all the time in the world, though, thanks to the defense earlier in the game.
Yeah, 2 keeps have been taken out, and the bot lane is pressuring heavily right now. Zealots, they need to take this. They can't. If they move bot lane, the boss is going to be taken. If they don't move to the bot lane, the catapults are eventually going to scratch at the core. Shat is low, but here comes the Ancestral. They get it through. The fight is still continuing here, with Mopsio being a bit low, but still, we see that Mosh Pit and Divine Shield ready on the Dignitas part.
Zealots have to make something happen. They have catapults moving in on that bottom core here. 2 of them starting to connect with the shields. A third will be joining very soon. They will go ahead and put Greymane on the bottom side while leaving 4 in the top to poke in. Kel'Thas, if he can get off a good Flame Strike or even drop down a nice Living Bomb, he can slow down this push. Mopsio dancing around, trying to distract their opponents.
Yeah, they need to YOLO right now. Greymane is already on his way back. Dignitas still posturing. A boss down below 50% at this point. And Greymane is back. It's now or never. This is the fight that you want, the fight that you need. They're trying to go in with another Gravity Lapse, but this time it misses. Cursed Bullet comes out once again. ETC tries to go in. No Mosh Pit just yet. Here we go. It's party time. He's dancing. The Divine Shield is in, and Snitch with the Dragon Blade, but immediately he's going to get isolated. But Rhaegar is down. Snitch couldn't get the damage in just yet, but he gets the resets. He himself is down. Uther is dead, has redemption. This fight is not over yet, but everyone on the Zealot side is low.
And everyone on Dignitas will get topped off from Bakery here. Genji not being up for the next 50 seconds is going to be a nice saving grace for Zealots. They need to pull back and set up for defense. Their core did fall down to 85%. Poik is already on the side. Here's Zarmany as well. It's time for a fight as JPL runs in.
Cursed Bullet is ready. Wow, they actually commit to it right now. Genji isn't here. They are losing ETC. I'm not sure if they can pull that off. They missed the Death Mosh.
He went for Death Mosh and they completely missed out on it. And now Bakery will be the last one here. Mane actually gets killed off. Zelia is able to burrow away, but he gets caught by Poik.
Zelia, Mopsio wants to go in. Bakery is low. Can they chase them somehow?
They can.
I think they need more than this.
Shad's looking for it. He wants to kill
Just go
Bakery.
boss. Go boss at this point. They have 57 gems. 57 gems. If you go boss here and you turn in, you have a shot. They have 53% on the core. You have to make plays now. And I think they need the boss for it. I don't know if they can actually finish if they just get the turn in and move through the bot lane.
Let's see if Rhaegar goes up there. Rhaegar will be the one that would go up there to start it. No,
they're not taking it. They decided to play it with the Web Weaver wave. You have to finish it bot lane. I don't think there's a way that you can actually go through the middle or to the top lane. It has to be bottom.
Horrify's up. Mosh Pit not up for 25. Dragon Blade in 15 seconds.
That is such a weird call. They move in without the Web Weaver wave, and they haven't pushed the bot lane out, so the Web Weavers is going to start all the way back at the core. That makes no sense whatsoever what they just did.
They get a keep at least, so catapults will be helpful.
I
but
mean,
they
great.
have no pushing power.
Want a cookie? You're not going to get anything for that keep. Like, I don't understand this. They had Rhaegar back. They could just push out the... If you want to make the play, push out the bot lane, the Web Weaver pushes with you, and then you make a core play. It's still risky, but you can make an argument for it because you push in with your entire wave, you push in with the Web Weavers, and you have a 5-man going in. I think boss would have been the better choice overall. But if you don't make the boss play, I would have gone for boss and turn in instead. But if you don't make that, then if you get the Web Weavers like this, then at least push out the bot lane. You had the heroes there anyways. Clear these 2 waves and then try and get some value. Right now, they might in the end still win this, but they had 3 heroes dead on the opponent's side and they didn't capitalize on it at all. The only thing they got out of it was a turn in.
Luckily for them, at least for a consolation prize, they do open up the map a little bit, get catapults pushing in the bottom so they can push that out so their focus can be just on the middle lane.
For Dignitas, this is great. I mean, Dignitas is sitting here and is saying, like, boys, this could have been so much worse. They went for a core push because they highly anticipated that JPL would get value out of the death metal, but his level 20 talents did basically not really have an impact here. So in that setup, Dignitas, in hindsight, made the wrong call. They were hoping for the death metal to hit 2-3 members and then they could have finished the core. That didn't work out for them. So it could have turned against them fast. But Dignitas is really happy with this still. It's a little bit more even right now. And in experience, the Zealots are also on level 22. But if you think about it, Dignitas still has the added mid lane, where there's no keep for the Zealots, and they have the opponent's core on 53%. So it's much easier for them to make a rotation and go in for that. Bot lane, losing the keep on Dignitas' side is huge for the Zealots, since they don't have as much pressure through the bot lane. But Dignitas is probably really happy that after that core attempt didn't work, the Zealots did not make a decisive decision.
Especially because they have Dahaka. They go for JPL again. Curse Bullet does come out. The entire combo connecting. Mopsio still on that front line. Arth is coming in as well. They want to make sure Dahaka does come in for the fight. Dahaka does. He uses Brush Stalker, will burrow as well to get away.
Yeah, at this point, Mopsio needs to also be a bit careful here, but keep in mind he is indestructible. His 20 is strong here. And a lot of these 20s are fantastic. A lot of it comes down to, again, Genji's play. If Genji is able to get the kills in, or at least to pressure Kel'Thas and Greymane to that extent. But right now, there is... I mean, this is still intense. This can still go either way. But for Zealots to make something happen, they need to win another team fight big time.
Both teams trying to lock down a target. Both tanks surviving here for Zealots. They got to pull someone away to deal with these catapults in the middle. And again, Dignitas goes straight to the top, but Zealots know that they want this boss.
I mean, of course they know, but the Haka is just going to try and push in the waves now. You have to remember, we're 28 minutes into the game. If catapults at any point start attacking the core, the Zealots will lose this game within a few seconds. So they always have to worry about the lanes pushing in against them. And at this point, it only gets worse. The scaling is insane. Zarmany with the Army of the Dead. Here comes the Mosh Pit. Not hitting anything. JPL not hitting a single target with the Divine Shield Mosh Pit here. Great dodge by the Zealots. They saw it coming. They still have to worry about the death metal, of course. But overall, this engage that failed for Dignitas was a win for the Zealots.
And they win on the cooldown exchange too. In 40 seconds, they can go for another Blessed Shield into a combo with the Cursed Bullet and also Phoenix. Crazy. They have a chance here to have a 30-second window before Divine Shield will be up.
Tim, this game, 28.5 minutes in. Whoever takes... Like, this is getting insane. The fear, the horrify, it didn't do anything here. Mena actually not able to hit Rhaegar. He wanted to push him into the team. But Grand Paquette paid a lot of attention to his positioning here. And therefore, another cooldown burned by Dignitas. But the same is true for Zealots. They have all of their abilities except for the Ancestral on cooldown. It's another 20 seconds until the army is back, until we see the Legion of Northrend. For Arthur's Blessed Shield just now came back online, and this game just continues. This is gonna be... This could take quite a while here. Who makes the first mistake? Who is able to get the first kill?
Both teams feeling the pressure at the moment. Mopsio does get caught with a drag. JPL knocking him back as well. Zarmany is low on health. Army of the Dead is up now. He can't pop it if he gets in for a fight. Mopsio's getting lower. We'll use Iron Skin to live for now. Grandpa turns around for the heal, and Team Dignitas gives chase but can't quite catch him.
Nearly 30 seconds, and Dignitas always moving back into the mid lane and pushing these waves back. They want the catapults to reach the core eventually, and the Zealots have always to make sure that they are moving in, pushing them back. We are 30 minutes into this game, catapults are destroying structures so super fast at this point that Zealots cannot risk anything here.
We're getting to a point, though, in 8 gyms, Team Dignitas will be able to work a turn-in.
Yes.
So not only does Zealots have to watch the boss, they have to watch both of the turn-in areas.
Exactly, and that is putting an added strain to it, because right now, a Web Weaver wave is also going to finish it. The Zealots, they had their chance earlier to have more of an impact. Blessed Shield misses. Blessed Shield misses, and JPL doesn't hit at all. Zarmany and Mopsio trying to coordinate the attack here against JPL up at the front, but they cannot confirm the kill. I have also to admit that I don't really like this attempt, because they have tried, I think, a dozen times now to kill ETC with that combo, and it never works. And not a single time when they were trying to go for that Blessed Shield Cursed Bullet combo and trying to blow JPL up, was he even endangered. Not one time was Bakery sitting there saying, okay, I need to use my Divine Shield now. So that combo against JPL just doesn't work. And the problem is still what we heard the pros talk earlier when we talked about ETC. He's such a fantastic tank, and he is so incredibly strong at peeling. It's so difficult for them to engage upon anyone else but ETC. He's always in your face, and he's always ready for a face melt to push you back.
I mean, the only thing you can maybe make happen is go for a massive flank, but the problem is you can't flank when you have your webs constantly pushing into you. The minions a little bit too much, and now they have to deal with 3 web weavers at 30 minutes. They'll be pushing 3 different lanes. Zealots need a miracle defense, and they need to stop Dignitas from jumping on their core. Remember, it's only at 53%.
Yeah, I just see any way for them to make that happen. That is crazy. If they, I mean, they need something, a kill somehow, but I just don't see it happening. The keep at the top lane should definitely be a goner, but this Web Weaver is at the core directly. They need to take that down fast, and I think this one they will probably be able to eliminate pretty quickly. But the top lane is now heavily pressured. Okay, first Web Weaver is down. Here comes the drag. Quick, unstoppable. Okay, gets the cleanse in. They go for the second Web Weaver. This one should also fall. The catapults are the big problem, and JPL still has a mosh pit ready, so that's another big deal. And the top keep now going to fall within seconds as the Web Weaver has reached it.
Zarmany does hit a Hanging Blast on JPL.
Kalthas.
He's in trouble, is able to get out.
And here comes the drag. Goes in right away. JPL once again moving back and Condemn. Howling Blast follow-up. Web Weaver at the top has taken the keep down. The Zealots are down to the core now.
They are down to the core. They have catapults pushing in all 3 lanes, but they still have all 5 members up. Mopsio on the side here drops the blind. Zarmany's low. He brings the whole army of the dead. Will it be enough? No! Finally, Team Dignitas gets a kill, and Snitch goes in with the Dragon Blade.
Grand Paquette is dropping the Ancestral, but the Dragon Blade Fiesta has started again. A kill, a double, and this is game as Team Dignitas, 32 minutes into the map, heads to the core and takes Team Zealots down.
Holy moly. We need a breather after that one. Dignitas finally finding the moment to go in for the kill. They get a turn in, find Zarmany, and are able to focus him down. But Zealots, the resilience they showed in that game.
They are really good at fighting back. The resilience that they have is insane. It's so difficult to actually take them down. You might get a massive lead, but every time you think, game's over, they somehow fight back. And again, it comes back to the fact that they did not do anything after they got 3 kills. They have so many plays available at that moment. You go for boss, you make a boss play. If you play just around your turn in, then push out the bot lane so that you can maybe even make another Hail Mary attempt for the core as they did on Sky Temple. But they just were so indecisive. They were sitting there, they were like, what are we doing? Do we turn in? Do we go for the 4? Then at some point they decided, well, let's turn in. But then they moved past 2 waves of minions. Their Web Weavers started at their core. And they just look at the keep and they're like, well, I guess we can kill the keep, and then they move back. The Web Weaver wave didn't do anything for them. So they are extremely resilient, but they have so much more potential here that I think it's absolutely awesome to see how an underdog against the huge favorites Dignitas can make these plays. But then again, Dignitas, every single time when it really mattered, they had to fight there. And Dignitas is opening maybe a few too many avenues for Zealots to come back into these situations after they take the lead. Dignitas today seem to have troubles to close out games. But overall, their fight coordination was just too strong. And I mean, JPL on ETC, it must be so frustrating to go up against this and look for a kill.
Totally. I mean, in the span of 8 weeks, they've gone from the team that we saw just barely making it through here in the Crucible. They 3-0'd the Playing Ducks, but 8 weeks later, they're holding their own against Dignitas, and that is actually incredible to see. And part of that is because of Grandpa and the support. Let's go ahead and look at the player comparison right now of Bakery and Grandpa. Both these guys coming in here, and they are there for their teams at any point.
This series is so much fun. I mean, this is really cool. You have so many emotions there with Bakery and his boys always making the big plays, making the big team fights, but then the underdogs coming in and just forcing them back somehow. There's so much happening here in every single map that we've seen so far, and the supports are having a huge part in this. We see that Grandpa has a bit more... Keep in mind what we're looking at. We're looking at the #2 in standings and a team that has just barely gone 5 wins, 5 losses, so barely gone even. And if you look at the two supports, it's
very
basically,
similar.
yeah, it's extremely hard to tell.
We still have to also give kudos to the Zealots and how they played around the possible Mosh Pit into Divine Shield combo.
Yeah.
That's not easy to play around all the time, especially with what we saw last week between JPL and Bakery. They went to land that combo constantly. They also did the same thing against the Dragon Blade. Not until the final moments did they ever get shredded by that combo.
Yeah, but that's also... This is what I love about them, that they... the Dragon Blade, for example, that came in up at the top, once they baited that out, they didn't try and force the fight enough. So at this moment, when you know one of the biggest cooldowns that they were afraid of the entire game is off, you need to try and force something. Then we have this amazing dodge where they all dodged the Divine Shield and Mosh Pit combo. That was so well done that they actually immediately saw it coming, moved out, and JPL didn't hit anyone. You know there's 2 massive cooldowns that just got used. They need to use their time window. They need to make something happen with the knowledge that 2 of the main cooldowns are gone. Because even if Genji has the Dragon Blade, if he goes in with it, you know he doesn't get the Divine Shield. So all of a sudden you can play against this.
Sure.
That's something where I feel the Zealots can grow a lot, but that they are already at a point where, as you said, they rival Dignitas in these games. It's just insane. Europe right now is fantastic.
Patience is key, and we see Zealots continuing to grow. Let's go ahead and go to game number 4 and see if they have a chance to tie